While I recognise why Season 12 is one of the most iconic of Doctor Who, I will admit that it is a tad overrated and it's certainly not one of my favourites. Now, I'm not a complete contrarian. I will admit that I have no issues with Genesis of the Daleks. I do think it is as great as everyone says, with iconic moments and several great characters, including my favourite iteration of Davros. Don't get me wrong, Sontaran Experiment, it's fine, though I mostly appreciate it for how Tom Baker and Karen Lindsay worked through their personal health and injury, and Robot is a generic unit plot, but it's one of the more fun ones. For me, the weakest stories of the season are Ark in Space and Revenge of the Cybermen. I'm just not a fan of overlit spaceship stories. I find them to be some of the more generic episodes of the show, and we get so many of them that it really annoys me because they do so little with the concept to shake up it and give it variety, not giving us more visually interesting aliens or spaceships. It's just a lot of white corridors and bug monsters. And Revenge takes it a step further with the weakest iteration of the Cybermen and the incredibly boring Vogons. When it comes to the characters, Sarah and Harry, they're a pretty fun set of companions and they have an amusing dynamic, but after Robot, they feel like somewhat of an afterthought in most episodes. Obviously, the highlight of the season is, of course, Tom Baker, and it's interesting to see how early on they pretty much do have the characterization for this incarnation down. You know, the wide-eyed bohemian who can seem like he doesn't take things seriously most of the time, but can snap and become terrifyingly serious at a moment's notice, but I wouldn't say they get the emotional consistency right all the time. I think Sontarans and Genesis, perfect. Robot over-exaggerates his humour in order to differentiate him from Pertwee, and again, Ark in Space and Revenge of the Cybermen, making him sometimes a bit unpleasant at points. But overall, a average season.